Pack for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you to Secretary Blinken for joining us again. Secretary Blinken, over the past several months, the situation in Colombia has seriously deteriorated, and I'm very concerned about the reports of police violence and brutal crackdowns on protesters by the Duque government. As you know, the United States provides a significant amount of security assistance to Colombia. And I want to ask my question in the historical context that for some reason in Latin America, the United States has always found it easy to press and challenge and sanction left-wing leaders, but for some reason has given the kid glove treatment to right-wing leaders over the years. So I want to ask you, will you consider using our security assistance to Colombia as leverage to stop these human rights violations?
When it comes to human rights violations, democratic backsliding, other concerns we have, we make no distinction between left, right, and center. Doesn't matter. And we are going to address the situation as we see it and do what we can to help correct it. When it comes to Colombia, as you know, Colombia remains a vital partner for the United States. We invested a tremendous amount, both diplomatically and in terms of resources, way back in dealing with narcotics. That continues, and then helping to bring peace, including the historic agreement in 2016 with the FARC, and we continue to be invested in trying to make sure that we help Colombia implement that agreement in a meaningful way. And when it comes to the protests, we have been very concerned about the use of excessive force by the police, other concerns about human rights abuses that have been raised. And we've called upon the government, and in fact, I met with the foreign minister just about a week ago to make sure that the police respect peaceful protest and also that the government investigate and hold accountable any of those engaged in the use of excessive force. At the same time, what we have seen is the government working to bring together all of the stakeholders in a dialogue to try to both understand and then hopefully act on the very legitimate concerns and grievances that many of the protesters have brought to the fore. And that process is ongoing, and we support it.
No, thank you very much for those actions. And of course, our committee will be monitoring the situation closely in Colombia. I want to ask you about separated families. A few weeks ago, I sent a letter to you and the other co-chairs of the Reunification Task Force asking you to support my legislation with Senator Blumenthal, the Families Belong Together Act, to ensure these families are given permanent status in the United States. After my conversations with Executive Director Michelle Brain, my understanding was that the task force will be looking at different policy recommendations to support these families. And your department told my staff that these families are being reunited under parole authority, which, as you know, is not a long-term fix. Will you commit to working with me in Congress to find a permanent solution for these families, such as through the Families Belong Together Act? And just for the committee, if these were the kids that were separated from their parents, their mothers oftentimes, without any way to track them.
Thank you. Thank you for putting a spotlight on that. Thank you for your engagement on it. And we want to find the most effective and most humane ways to make sure that families come together and are reunited. So we'll look at whatever tools we have consistent with the law, consistent with our obligations, consistent with, of course, maintaining a secure border to do that. And whether it is through the asylum program, whether it's through parole, whether it's through the refugee program, whether it's through various legal pathways, we'll certainly look at everything and work with you on that. As you know,
Sure.
The responsibilities and equities of other departments are front and center on this, to include obviously DHS, HHS. We're working closely with them, but I also invite you to engage directly with them.
No, absolutely. And we certainly have, and I appreciate that. And would just ask that in the end, that all the departments of the administration work together on a long-term solution, as we intend to try to do in Congress. And then in my last few seconds, I don't have enough time for a full question, but just wanted to bring to your attention, we sent a letter on some of us sent a letter on May 26th on diversity again. at the State Department, and would just ask for your review of it, as you know, we'd like to get a response back. Thank you again, Secretary, for being here again in such a short time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. The gentleman's time has expired. I now recognize Representative Tim Burchett.